Good evening. I couldn't bring the interactive whiteboard to the meeting, so I figured I'd bring the experience to you through this video. I'm going to show you some purposes of how we use the interactive whiteboard in an elementary setting as well as in a junior high and high school setting. I hope you enjoy. Okay, I'm going to show you some things that teachers can do with an interactive whiteboard, ranging from an elementary school setting all the way up through to a high school setting. This first one kind of looks at an elementary example where we may be working on phonics and we have a picture and we want to work on, we have the ending sound, but we need to work on the beginning sound. Is it a C for the cut sound, or is it a K? I can use the interactive whiteboard to do this in two ways. One, I can use it where I can use my fingers and drag the appropriate letter into the spot, but I can also pick up the pen and, with it being in a pen mode, write the letter, depending upon how I wanted to use it. The next one is a replacement of an overhead projector. It's kind of hard to see on the video, but there is a map of New England on here. I can pick up different colored pens and write the different state names in here. I can also get in here and say, and have a student come up here and say, and ask the question, what's the capital of Maine? And they can write in here. So again, we're taking something that if we did with a standard overhead projector, I would have had to have found the picture I wanted, printed it out, taken that printed piece of paper and transferred it to a overhead transparency, or I would have to rely on my art skills, and my art skills aren't quite up to snuff. That's something that the computer can replicate for me. The third example I wanted to show you is an activity that we can manipulate. So if we're working on time, I can move the hands of the clock and ask students to tell me what time it is, and they can come up here and write. Or I can say, here's the time, and move the hands of the clock to show that time. So there are different interactive activities found with the software. Probably the strongest value here is using the simulations piece. A very common activity is to work on tally marks and graphing. So we might do an example where we're rolling dice. If we were doing this in a real classroom setting, rolling of the dice could become a distraction. But on here, all I have to do is tap on the dice, and I have my roll done for me. And in this case, I had one of each. If I tap the dice again, now I have another set, so I can 2 of the 2s, 1 of the 1, 1 of the 6, 2 of the 6, and 1 of the 3. I can keep going that way and not make it in a quiet environment, but also being able to roll multiple things at once and running the simulation. And so that's to take a look at some of the examples. In a moment, I'm going to show you some other ones. Okay, let's take a look at another setting. This one would be more like a PowerPoint setting. If we were doing a review of meiotic cell division, I'm not going to profess to be an expert on here, so I've taken content that's already been generated and created this. I could run this like a PowerPoint presentation. I can go into full view mode, and I can click just like I would in a PowerPoint. I can also emphasize with my markers different things, so I can annotate over it. And if there was multimedia embedded in here, I could go in there, play movies, be able to strip pieces off of the cells, just making it more of an interactive activity, as well as being able to present the information. Okay, so on here we want to isolate our numbers on one side and X's on the other side. So on here I'm going to be moving this piece and this piece. Everything has to remain equal, so what I do on one side I have to do the same thing on the other side. So if I want to move +5, I'm going to subtract 5 on both sides. And when I do that, my new equation becomes this cancels out. Okay. So now I want to move my... Thank you for this time and allowing me to show you what interactive whiteboards can do in the classroom.